You can say all the right words, memorize all the lines, and still lose her because your energy doesn't lie. Women don't respond to what you say, they respond to what you believe. Until your subconscious says, I'm the prize, nothing you do will feel congruent to her or anyone else.
We're going live, baby.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host,
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer. He is a certified master life coach and NLP practichitioner.
It's true. It's damn true. Happy Halloween, guys. Do you have any exciting plans for tonight? Nurse Chick and I, we're going to a Halloween party tonight. It's pretty fun. Every year we go over to my friend Tyrene's, and she hosts a murder mystery party. It's always themed. I think last year was like old Western themed or something like that. And this one is Grease, like 1950s greaser. So that's what I'm dressing up as. I can't remember. Nurse Chick, what's your character? It's not like a poodle skirt wearing chick, right? It's like a librarian or or a school teacher or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. Today is Frame Friday. We're going to be talking about having a prize mentality, a prize mindset, and why you must believe it before anyone else will believe it. Okay. Before we get into that, though, guys, if you're new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer. I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. So let's talk about why she won't believe it. Okay. She'll never believe you're the prize until you do. Everything about your body language, tone, and behavior mirrors what you believe about yourself. I talk about it in psychology paradigm, but like 95% of what we do on a daily basis is habit-based. We're doing it without any conscious thought at all. That means it's our subconscious running the show. It's the subconscious driving the car. And if your subconscious doesn't believe that you're the prize, that you're someone that's that's worthy, that you're her best possible option, whatever you want to tell yourself, if you don't believe it in your subconscious, in your heart of hearts, she's never going to believe it either, because it's going to come out in your body language. It's going to come out in your actions. It's going to come out in the tone of your voice. This is one of the reasons why women test men, is because your reactions tell them everything you need to know, or everything that they need to know, rather. And so you could say that you're the prize all day, and you hear it all the time where guys are like, yeah, men are the prize. It's like, you're not the prize of anything until you believe it. And then once you believe it, everyone else around you will start believing it too. Okay. Before we get too far into this, though, guys, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And Fridays are really dedicated to mindset and improving that, because that's the base of everything, right? When R.P. Thor, the late great R.P. Thor, he wrote a phenomenal book called A Dominant Masculine Presence a couple of years ago. And then shortly after, he got diagnosed with brain cancer, right? Well, he originally wanted to make a whole series of those books, and unfortunately, he just couldn't do that with his brain cancer. So he asked some of us in the red pill space to write books for him. And so I wrote the first one, and the reason why I did it, Psychology Paradigm, is because this is the foundation. What's up here is the foundation for everything else that we talk about in this space. And that's why it's so important. That's why in Rollo's 9 Iron Rules, he talks about frame as everything. It's a very similar concept, right? In order to develop a strong mental frame, you have to work on your paradigm, right? Anyway, that's what we're talking about today. So this matters because women don't pay attention to words. They pay attention to your energy, to your actions, to how you make them feel. Okay? Your subconscious belief system leaks through every micro expression you have. Okay? And on top of that, their hypergamous nature must see you as above them in some way. They have to see you as above them in some way. They must see you as their best possible option. Okay? If she doesn't see you as the prize, and that's going to be subjective, okay? If she doesn't see you as her prize, she will trade you up for someone who she thinks really is the prize. Okay? So if you don't work on what's up here to believe it, to really cement that into your psyche, she's never going to believe it. Never. And I just saw right before going live, I saw one of the Wolfpack brothers. He's been trying to turn his relationship around, and he's been reading, Get Her to F You Again. We're not at the 8-minute mark. I can't even say the name of my own book, right? Until the 8-minute mark. He's been reading Get Her to F You Again. He's been working on it. But I can just, every post he talks about, it's all still covert contract. He's still trying to get her to do something. He's still focused on that because he hasn't really programmed up here yet subconsciously that he's the prize. She's still the prize to him, you see? And until he rewires that, and that's just going to take time. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of guys get really impatient with this stuff. You didn't develop your ineffective relationship paradigms overnight. That took 10, 20 for most of you guys that are, most of you guys that tune into this, you guys are adults. So it took you 20, 30, 40, 50 years to develop your relationship paradigms. You're not going to master this stuff in a couple of months. You're just not. It's going to take consistent effort, repetition. Okay. Repetition. This is why if you read Get Her to F You Again or Psychology Paradigm or pretty much any of the other books, I say you got to read this like multiple times if you really want to cement it into your brain and become the game. Okay. That's the goal. The goal is to become the game, right? All right. Let's talk about what the real meaning of being the prize is. Okay. It's not necessarily arrogance, although women do like a guy with a little bit of arrogance, a little bit of cocky funny. But it's about holding frame, being unshakable in who you are, regardless of her tests or emotions. This is how she can tell if you're truly the prize or not. This is why understanding, now we just hit the 8-minute mark. Understanding shit tests, okay, understanding them and how to handle shit tests is paramount when it comes to maintaining attraction in the long term. Okay, if you can't figure out how to handle shit tests properly, you're going to push her away, and she's going to not believe that you're the right guy for her. Okay. But this is what it means, right? You're being the prize. You're a true man of mission and purpose. You have an exciting life that she wants to join. It's not necessarily about the money you have. Okay. It's how you make her feel, right? It's how you make her feel in the moment. It's about whether or not your frame can create a virtual world that she could feel safe in. I think I heard it described the best in my man Giff Lansdow's book. It's called The Way of Men with Maids, and it's a Christian book. So if you are a Christian guy, you like to go to church on Sundays, get Giff's book, The Way of Men with Maids. Okay, and it's very much a red pill Christian book. There's a lot of red pill stuff in there. And one of the things that he describes frame as being like an oyster shell, and she's the pearl that nestles in that shell. That's your frame. Okay. And until you can cement this in your subconscious, she's never going to feel safe to be the pearl, it resting inside your shell. Okay. So be honest, guys. I got to ask you this. Be honest. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you actually believe that you're the prize? Okay. Let me know in the chat or the comments. If you're watching the replay, drop a comment below, okay? But if you're watching live right now, and there's a bunch of you guys watching live right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you actually believe you're the prize? Drop it in the chat, okay? Internal versus external validation. A woman's attraction is a reflection of your internal world. You can't act like the prize. You have to become it. All right. Now, this is where this trips up some guys. Okay. You can fake it until you make it. You can, right? But you have to be acting with intention when you're trying to fake it until you make it. Okay. The problem with fake confidence, so like empty affirmations like saying I'm the prize without being backed by an emotion, won't stick in your subconscious enough for you to truly believe it. That's why you have to do this with intention. You have to intentionally not just say I'm the prize, but you actually have to envision it. You have to imagine yourself already being the prize and how that makes you feel. Okay. You have to imagine feeling the feeling of already being the prize while faking it, right? And then you have to keep repeating it with enough frequency so that repetition, okay, it's the only way that's going to stick in your subconscious. It's the only way. That the repetition backed by an emotion. It's the only way you're truly going to get that into your subconscious mind. So if you're just saying empty words, it's not going to stick because you don't believe it. You don't believe it. But here's the magic of visualization and imagining is your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. And so if you can imagine it and feel that, like you'll be able to feel the feeling of what it's like being the prize, that seeps into your subconscious as a reality. And then your subconscious mind will make it real. It has to make it real. It's going to recognize the gap that you're not quite there yet, but it knows that it's possible because it's imagined it and it believes that's real. It's going to close that gap. Okay. But that's going to take time and effort. That's why you have to do this with intention. A lot of this kind of stuff is some of the stuff that I talk about in the Passive Dread Blueprint course. And I've been running a promotion all month long to launch it. And that promotion, Dread 20, will get you 20% off at checkout if you use code Dread 20. That offer ends at midnight tonight, guys. So act now. She used to watch you, hang on your words, crave your presence. Now, she barely notices when you enter the room. And if she does, it's with eyes full of boredom. You've tried being softer. You've tried being sweeter. You've tried everything they said would work, and still nothing. The truth no one wants to say out loud, she doesn't miss you because there's nothing to miss. But what if you can make her feel the fear of losing you without saying a word? This isn't manipulation. It's psychological contrast. It's healthy anxiety. It's passive dread. Rebuild tension, reignite her curiosity, make her jealous of the life you're living without her at the center. You don't chase desire. You become the man it fears losing. Visit dread.fixdeadbedrooms.com now and take the course. Don't wait for her to act different. Take action for yourself. One of the things that I talk about in the Passive Dread Blueprint is making this a part of who you are. Right? It's not a trick. It's not a tactic. This is how you move through life naturally. And it just happens to be a natural thing that women are drawn to. You know what I mean? And most of you guys haven't been doing that your whole entire relationship because of the happy wife, happy life paradigm, unfortunately. We got a bunch of people in the chat. Nurse Chick's in the house. She says, good morning, gentlemen. Happy Halloween. Nurse Chick, she always gets this.
So naughty.
She is.
I'm going to come.
And if she plays her cards right. What's up? Good morning, man. Happy to see you here. Erkin, happy whatever you're celebrating. Good day, folks. Hey, guess what, Erkin? We have someone from Sweden that just joined the Wolf Pack, man. You should get in there. You should get in there, bro. Dar Fitness says, happy Halloween and frame is everything. I couldn't agree more. And my man says he's 6. Okay. I appreciate your honesty there. Appreciate your honesty. The work never stops though, right? There's always room for improvement. Not where I want to be at the moment, but heading that way. Good. That's good. 1% better every day, right? CW says, morning fellas and nurse chick. I don't like how StreamYard is showing people's like, at handles instead of their names. That's bothering me. Whatever. All right, let's talk about internal versus external validation. So a woman's attraction is a reflection of your internal world. You can't just act like the prize. You have to become it. And women really are a mirror of their men. The more you see this stuff in practice, the more you can't unsee it. It's kind of like once you see the matrix, the code in the matrix, like all you see is alpha, beta, manipulative time wasters, wholesome pretenders, rejectors, and reciprocators, right? Like that's what you see. You don't see the code anymore. And it's funny because Nurse Chick's in the chat here. Nurse Chick shows up for like every episode for the most part when she's being a good girl. You know what I mean? And so Nurse Chick can't unsee this stuff either. It's kind of funny. It's like, how we often say this phrase, you can't red pill women. Well, Nurse Chick's pretty red pill just because she tunes into every episode. And we like to people watch. Like one of the things that we like to do is go to places and people watch and then just like make up stories about people. But Nurse Chick will point stuff out. She's like, look at that guy. That guy's clearly in her frame, like, all that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, babe. Yeah, that's good stuff. but that's because you can just see it in the guy's body language, right? It's because it's not up here. So the problem with fake, oh shit, I already talked about that stuff. Hold on, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the psychology behind belief. So what is a paradigm? So I'm talking about paradigms a lot. Well, paradigm is basically your lens of reality, and your paradigm is the mental program that controls 95% of your behavior. And so I talked about this at the beginning. 95% of our actions are habit-based, and our results in life come from our actions, right? So our actions cause reactions. Those reactions cause our results in our life. And 95% of those actions are from your paradigm, from habits, okay? And I really get into it in the book, and I've done videos on this. I just did a video on this like last week, a vlog video with the stick figure guy. But when you're a baby, you're just absorbing everything. You're a walking subconscious mind. Then at some point in your life, you get a conscious barrier. We call that the ego protection layer. It's got let's see, NLP, we call it the critical factor, but it's the same thing, right? It's basically an ego protection layer that protects your subconscious mind. And then you have conscious thoughts, and you can think anything you want in the world. People can tell you things, but if it doesn't match your paradigm, you'll reject it, right? That ego protection layer will reject it. And this is why, like, you can't red pill men. They have to like hit rock bottom most of the time. You can't just go red pill your friends. Most of us like learn this stuff and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't know this my whole life. And then you go around telling your friends, like, you got to read this book, right? And then your friends are like, that's bullshit. Everyone knows you got to do chores around the house to get your wife to have sex with you. And it's like, no, bro, that's an ineffective paradigm. And they're like, what's a paradigm? Anyway, it's a whole thing. But that's because their ego protection layer is blocking it. They don't want to believe that, that love and relationships aren't this Disney fairy tale. They want to believe it, especially men, because men are idealists. Women are opportunists. They're like, what do I get out of this? I just saw an X yesterday. Everyone's blowing up. What's her name? Stuckey. What's her name? The conservative chick. Is it Elizabeth Stuckey? Anyway, she's talking of how Christian men need to step up and be manly for their women and stop looking at the prawn, the corn, and be better men for women and shit. And it's like, that's the paradigm, right? Because women want you to be better men for them, for the benefit of them. What did they get out of it? They're opportunists, right? And men are like, we just want to love you unconditionally. You know what I mean? Like we just see a woman and most guys like don't even have to know the woman to want to protect her. You know what I mean? Like we just want to protect baby makers at all costs. Like it was wired into us. That's our idealistic paradigm that men have. And men until like a woman comes and slaps those fantasy goggles off their face, we don't wake up to it. So it's one of those things. It's just your ego protection layer. Don't want to know the truth. But your paradigms run your life. If you subconsciously believe you're not worthy, you'll act that way. You'll act like someone who's not worthy. You know, you'll apologize all the time. You'll apologize for your very existence. You'll over-explain yourself, and you'll chase her validation. Like I was saying, one of the brothers in Wolfpack this morning, you can just, every post that he posts, and I'm not shitting on him, it's just every post that he posts, he's seeking validation from his wife. And when she's not giving it, he just wants to shut down, and he doesn't want to, he wants to give up and stuff. It's like the whole purpose of Get Her to Fuck You Again, the whole purpose of Passive Dread is to stop paying attention to what she's doing, stop seeking that validation, and focus on you. Okay. Like, yeah, she's not fucking you right now. Perfect. Perfect. Just go and start hitting the gym. Don't even try to have sex with her for a while, and you can't tell her what to do. You can't set the tone and lead the relationship until she thinks that you're the prize. Okay. So that means that you have to work on yourself for a while and become the prize that she respects, that she looks up to. And that means handling her bullshit shit test for a while, like not getting pissed at her and stuff. It's going to take a while. Okay. Your relationship didn't go downhill overnight either. Okay. It took a while to erode. It's going to take a while to turn it around. It's the 1,000-foot tow rope thing that we talked about the other day. All right. And we have this subconscious versus conscious conflict, right? So like you might say the prize because you've read the books or you've, watched a lot of the TikToks and, whatever. And you're like, yeah, I'm the prize. But if you don't believe it, your behavior will always show her who you truly are. It's the same thing that we tell guys, don't listen to what women say, watch what they do. Almost everything in the red pill space, we learn from women. We took what women do and we applied it to our own strategies. We're like, oh, that seems like an effective strategy to spin plates. Oh, that seems like an effective strategy, right? Like to gaslight, right? But if you understand red pill, you'll see women basically using all this stuff and they just naturally do it. It's like their moms and their grandmas teach them how to do this shit. Guys aren't taught this shit. Guys are taught happy wife, happy life shit, right? Anyway, guys, if you're getting value out of these episodes, do consider sending a super chat, would you? That helps support the show. Internalization through action and intention. So belief follows repetition. So affirmations, they rewire your subconscious, but only when paired with daily action and emotion. And so this is where I think a lot of guys struggle with this sort of thing, because if you're a guy like, let's say, Aaron Clarey, okay? If you guys don't know who Aaron Clarey is, he's got, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube. He's got a silver plaque. He's written like 1 million books. He's a Rule Zero panelist, or at least he was. I don't know. I haven't watched Rule Zero in a while, but he was a Rule Zero panelist with me when I was on Rule Zero. And I've learned a lot from that guy. You know what I mean? But he is one of those guys that's like, affirmations? Really, Paul? Really? He read, God, what book did he read of mine where he's like, really? He read Get Her to Fuck You Again. He read Get Her to Fuck You Again. And I talk about affirmations in that book. And he's like, really, Paul? Or like Stuart Smiley from Saturday Night Live, like I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and dosh gone it, people like me. Like, if you look at affirmations like they're silly and you won't do them, like you're never going to change your internal belief system. You're just not there. You have to do something to change the wiring that's up here. Okay. So you have to get intentional with it. Some guys might do it a little bit, but they just sort of like do it glancingly. It's not, they don't do it with intention. Okay. And with intention means you're going to do this on a daily basis. You're going to be disciplined about it. You're going to set calendar reminders about it. Right. And you're going to say, say your affirmations like 3 times, 2 or 3 times a day. You're going to get up in the morning, you're going to have it taped to your fucking mirror and shit, right? That's someone who's intentionally trying to rewire their subconscious. It's someone that has their affirmations like on sticky notes fucking everywhere so they can see them, so that it's always on the forefront of their mind. One of the things that I recommend guys do, we'll probably talk about this later, is get a business card, right? Just get a business card like this and write out some of the affirmations that you want to wire in here, right? And then laminate it with some like packing tape. Okay. Call it a goal card, is something I learned from Bob Proctor. And then stick it in your pocket. And then when you're at the supermarket and you're just in line, not doing shit, right? Instead of scrolling on X or TikTok or whatever, pull it out and read it to yourself. You don't have to say it out loud. Just reading it internally it operates the same way. And then that repetition, just saying it over and over again, like, 5 times each, that repetition gets in there. Okay. And then you also, it really cements in when you back it with a visualization, like visualizing yourself already being that way and like how that feels. Okay. That really cements in there. Now, I first learned about affirmations years ago when I was a kid. And I really think this helped shape my paradigm and my can-do attitude and my, don't give up and nobody likes a quitter kind of thing, is from my my karate sensei, Fred Bodie. And he would have us read, he didn't call them affirmations, he called them rules, right? So we had leadership rules and black belt rules. And when we would go to class, we'd have to say the leadership rules, and then at the end of class we'd read the black belt rules. And what's funny about it is I always remember doing that. But the reason why is because he really wanted to cement in our minds this positive can-do attitude. And so he would have us read the stuff at the beginning of class and read the stuff at the end of the class, so it would really cement into our minds. And when I really realized what he was doing was one time my grades were really bad. My grades were always bad. I was a terrible student when I was a kid. And one time my grades were bad, and if your grades were bad, you weren't allowed to participate. Like my mom would bring us, my brother and I both down to karate class. My brother would go and do all the practicing, and I'd have to sit out in the waiting room and work on my homework because my grades were bad, right? Well, one of the things that he had me do was he said, I want you to write out affirmations like, I'm a good student, I always do my homework, like all this kind of stuff. And he goes, just like the leadership rules and the black belt rules. And I want you to stick it up in your bedroom. And I want you to get up in the morning and read them first thing in the morning 5 times. And at night, I want you to read them 5 times before you go to bed. That was the first time anyone ever had me do any kind of affirmation. And I didn't think much of it at the time, but I did it. I did what I was told. And my grades improved. Like I started paying attention in school, and it was just like, it was almost effortless. It was almost effortless just by being intentional and doing that kind of stuff. So I wanted to, when I wrote Psychology Paradigm, I wanted to immortalize the leadership rules and the black belt rules in the book, because I talk about Mr. Bodie a lot in the book. And the funny thing is, like, I couldn't remember them all. I could remember some of them. I could still remember some of them, but I couldn't remember them all. So I reached out to, we had this assistant sensei at school, Miss Spillane, Miss Bernadette Spillane was her name. She was like the one of the other instructors there, and she was his business partner. And I'm still friends with Miss Spillane's kids. And so I reached out to Dominic and Jonathan. I said, hey, do you remember the black belt rules? And they're like, I remember saying them. I don't remember what they are. And I was like, oh, damn. They're like, let me ask my mom. And the funny thing is, Miss Spillane couldn't remember them either. And so I was like, damn it, I need to figure out what these are. And so I was telling my mom about it. I was like, Mom, I'm trying to find the black belt rules. Like, do you have a picture of the old dojo? Like, maybe in the background, they're up on the wall or something. So she goes looking through her stuff, and she finds this essay I wrote about him when I was in 3rd grade. And in the essay, I drew a drawing of Mr. Bodie in front of the mirrors in the dojo. And I wrote out the leadership rules and the black belt rules on this drawing. And I was like, holy shit, here they are. And so I got them in the book. So the leadership rules are: I always think positive, I never quit, I always keep trying, and I can do anything. And the black belt rules are: I always strive to develop myself mentally, physically, and spiritually. I always show courtesy and respect to others, and I will only use karate for self-defense. And it's funny because I look at these affirmations and I'm like, I have embodied these my whole life, you know, and it was Mr. Bodie that cemented that shit into my paradigm when I was a kid. Right. And so it's funny. I have a lot of empathy for guys that, you know, they end up in the wolf pack, or, you know, they reach out to me, or they read my books, or they, you know, they DM me, and they don't have the same kind of like can-do attitude. And it's sometimes I just don't understand it. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Right. But what I realized, my upbringing was different than a lot of people's. I get it. Like, I'm like, okay, you didn't learn this when you were a kid. You know, a lot of people, they, you know, they were raised in you know, bad neighborhoods. They were raised by parents who didn't know any better. You really can't blame the parents necessarily, because they didn't know what they didn't know. And so a lot of people have a quitter's attitude. A lot of people have a can't do attitude. A lot of people have a victim mentality, right? Like, life just happens to them and everything sucks and everything, you know, they didn't have that positive mindset, which is funny too, because my dad always had a negative mindset. You know, God bless him. He always had a negative mindset, but Mr. Bodie's overwrote that because of these affirmations, right? Anyway, where are we at here? Oh, this got messed up. So one thing's interesting is NLP shows us that our physiology influences our psychology. This is something I actually learned from Thor, right? But if you change your body language, okay, let's say you don't quite believe that you're the prize yet, because that's what we're talking about today. If you start acting as if physically, a lot of times your brain is going to shift with that. Okay. So your physiology influences psychology. So stand taller, breathe deeper, speak slower. Your body teaches your brain how to feel. A lot of that body language, as long as you're practicing the like alpha body language and stuff like that, the more you practice it, the more that becomes a habit, the more that changes how you feel about yourself. Studies show that confident body language makes guys feel more confident. Isn't that weird? Also, you know what else makes guys more confident? Smelling better. If you wear cologne, studies show that guys walk taller when they smell better. Isn't that weird? That's something I learned from Atomic Attraction. So I mentioned Wolfpack a few times. Guys, I would love to have you in the Wolfpack. We just got three new members. Was it 3 new members this week, guys? 3 new members in Wolfpack this week. And what's really cool is tomorrow I'm hosting a watch party because Brother Omega said that he's never seen a James Bond movie in his life. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. That will not do. That will not stand, sir. And so I was like, well, we do need to do a private pod class, because I do pod classes for the Wolfpack. That private just for those guys. And I was like, why don't we do a watch party? Let's watch GoldenEye, because it's one of my favorite James Bond movies. And let's also break down like some of his body language. Let's break down his mental frame. Let's break down how he interacts with women and stuff like that. That would be a fun thing to do. So if you guys want to join us, sign up for the Wolfpack. There's a 7-day free trial. If you like the group, stay in it. If you don't like it, cancel before you get charged. But at least show up for the watch party tomorrow night and roll with the Wolves, brother.
Bear Club? Not anymore.
You fix what's broken. You lead like a man again. No pity, no therapy. Just fire, just flame. Cold dead, broken home. midlife drift, feeling alone. You don't need hacks, blogs, lies. You need men with fire in their eyes. We rebuild from the ground up. No excuses, no soft stuff. Telegram lit 24/7. Brothers locked in steel, not heaven. Step inside the pack. We don't fall, we attack. Truth, fire, presence, we bring it back. Masculine pride, no time to slack. Step inside the pack. Drop your past, claim your track. No therapy talk, no playing small. We sharpen blades, we take it all.
I think I said tomorrow night. It's actually tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So if you guys want to watch that, I can't stream it. Normally what I do when I do a private pod class for Wolfpack is I stream it privately to YouTube, and they can watch that for a week, and then I take it down. But because we're watching Goldeneye, I can't stream it to YouTube. So it's going to only be on StreamYard. So the Wolfpack brothers are going to all join me in the studio to watch it. All right, let's talk about frame and energy. It's funny. I like talking about energy. You know what I mean? Like I like talking about that kind of stuff. It's kind of woo woo. And it's funny being in the red pill space because, you know, guys like Rollo hate the fucking term energy. It's chick crack and all this kind of shit. It's like, okay, but have you ever seen a fucking EKG? Have you ever seen an EEG? You're literally emanating energy from your body, right? Like it's a thing. It's really a thing. And people can feel an energy in the room and stuff like that. It's not woo-woo. It's real, right? So one thing a lot of guys don't understand that you often hear guys saying, I lost frame, right? Have you ever said that or heard someone say that? I lost frame. You can't lose frame. Okay. Frame is who you are. Frame is who you believe you are deep down in your heart of hearts. Okay. So your beliefs, focus, and emotions under pressure, that's your frame. Okay. The version of you that if you are a guy that gets upset easily, that's a part of your current frame. Okay. So what if you're allowing people to get under your skin and piss you off, you have frame. It's kind of weak, right? You often enter other people's frame when you allow them to control your emotions and stuff like that. Okay. So you don't lose frame. That's who you are until you rewire that. Okay. Frame is a part of who you are. So holding frame under stress, when she tests you, she's not trying to destroy you. She's checking if this is real. Okay. So this is why if you have a facade that you're the prize, but you don't truly believe it, her testing is going to show her the truth. Okay. This is why you have to learn to not get rattled, not take women so seriously. This is really what I try to beat into you guys. Okay. Stop taking women so fucking seriously so that you stop letting them manipulate your emotions so much. Okay. That's going to strengthen your mental frame so that you can handle that stuff. So she believes that this is really you. That's just going to take a lot of practice. Okay. It's not easy. It's one of the hardest things, one of the fucking hardest things. Okay. If you're not quite there yet, I'm not shitting on you. I'm not. I take my hand, brother. Let's work on this together. Okay. I'm not shitting on you for that. Okay. But it's something that you need to work on. And I know how hard it is because I used to have the worst fucking temper. I used to get so offended so easily. I would lose my shit so much. Holy crap. Anyway, I'm much better now, guys. Much better now. Let's talk about reactive versus proactive energy. So the man who reacts from emotion, he's got a weak frame. It's weak, right? And this is why if you read Ryan Stone's book, the legendary Ryan Stone, if you read his book on frame, he describes frame as a tetrahedron. Okay. And you have an emotional pillar, you have your intellectual pillar, you have your physical pillar, and those all come to support your vision, like how you see the world. Okay. And if any of those pillars are weak, your frame is weak, and you're not going to be working through your vision. You're going to be working through other people's vision. Okay. And I swear to God, the emotional pillar is the hardest for men. That's the hardest one to work on. A lot of guys, the physical pillar, they got that down. They go to the gym all the time. They got great physiques. They eat right. They do all that kind of stuff. Intellectual pillars, they're listening to podcasts. They're listening to books. They're not, doing brain rot fucking TikToks and TV all day. They're actually like improving themselves mentally that way. But their emotions need work. You know what I mean? Their emotions need work. And that's really hard for guys to really fathom, because in this space, we're all supposed to be these logical, rational people that don't get led by our emotions like women do, like those women do. But we do too. And that's how you know that, the women got you. They got you because you're still being led by your emotions too much. So here's the thing. Like if this is something that you're working on, you got to be your own future prize for you. Okay. You're not becoming a prize for her. You're doing it for you. Okay. You're doing it to protect your time, health, finances, and your peace. A lot of times you'll hear guys say, I want a girl that brings me peace, bro. And I always retort, women never bring you peace. They only bring you drama. Peace comes from up here. It comes from your mindset. That's why I dedicate every Friday to mindset. It's that important. Okay. If you truly want your peace, you'll work on what's up here. And then you'll have peace. It doesn't matter what she's doing in the world. Okay. You'll have peace. You'll have more peace when you stop taking women so goddamn seriously too, right? Because everything they do will be funny and amusing to you. And that funny and amusing shit is good for peace, right? It makes you feel good. Laughing at those goofy bastard women. Being the prize changes the game. Okay. You still have to maintain self-respect, standards, and emotional control. Okay. You're not safe from being tested. You're just better equipped at handling it. Okay. One of the things that a lot of guys will say this. I say it a lot in the podcast, right? But all women test men either consciously or subconsciously. You can't avoid it. So you might as well learn how to deal with it. It's because even if you have the strongest frame in the world and you've reprogrammed your mindset, you truly believe that you're the prize, she's still going to test you. Okay. It might be not as much. And the more you pass her tests, the less she'll test, or the better you get at it, the less they'll feel like tests because you just handle them effortlessly. And a lot of women's tests are subconscious. They don't even realize they're doing it. And one of my old school 3% brothers, Ryan Kaufman, who's been on the podcast a few times. He's a tattoo artist, the world's best tattoo artist. Okay. If you want to get a tattoo, book Ryan, take a trip out to, where the fuck's he at? He's out in Maryland, I think. Go out to Maryland and get a tattoo done by Ryan Kaufman. Okay. Immaculate work. But one of the things that he said was, is that when a woman is subconsciously testing you, to her, it's not a test unless you fail it. Once you fail it, something clicks in her head going, oh, he just failed this test, right? But if you handle it the way she's sort of hoping you handle it, it wasn't a test at all. You're just acting the way she's hoping. And then she's more in love with you for handling it correctly, right? It's funny. You're not having the prize mentality is not going to keep you safe from all the pain in the world. It's not. Shitty stuff's still going to happen to you. I was, who was I talking to about this? I swear to God, I was talking to brother Ed from Wolfpack yesterday. He and I had a call yesterday. And one of the things I was telling him is like how monumentally shitty this year's been, right? For a lot of people, including myself, right? So if you think about it, at the beginning of the year, my dog died. And then a couple of months later, RP Thor died. And then a couple months after that, I fucking tore my meniscus and I had to retire from running. And then, a couple months after that, I got fucking laid off from IT. So now I'm retired from IT. And through all of that adversity, my mindset, right? It's like, I've always maintained that positive mindset. Like this is going to point me in the right direction. right? And if once you have that kind of mentality, you're still going to deal with pain, but you're not going to dwell on the pain. You understand where I'm coming from? So like, Thor died. It was like, we all knew this was coming, and it's really unfortunate and it's sad and stuff like that, but I'm happy to carry the torch and pass on like his knowledge and plug his book and plug his essential skills series and all that kind of stuff. My dog died. I'm like, she's in a better place now. She's not in suffering anymore. Like, I always try to look at the positive. Okay. But that's just because one thing is Mr. Bodie, right? But also I've been working on this, my mental frame for years now. It's been nonstop, constant work. The work never stops. Okay. I tell you guys, like, you gotta work on this stuff. You gotta work on this stuff. I'm still working on this shit. Okay. I practice I'm one of the few guys in this space that practice what I preach. I'm one of the few guys in the space. It's funny being in the space for a long time. You get the inside baseball, who's who in the zoo. You start talking with other guys in the space. You start realizing who's real and who's not. You know what I mean? And I am telling you right now, and if you guys join Wolfpack, you'll interact with me like on a daily basis. Like I practice what I preach. Okay. And the work never stops. I'm always doing the shit. I'm always doing affirmation. You can ask Nurse Chick. Like Nurse Chick probably thinks I'm a goofball. I don't give a shit. But I have these like sleep earphones that I listen to at night with affirmations. I put that on right before I go to bed, and I just listen to that, let my subconscious run all night. Do that kind of shit. I talked about a goal card, having a goal card in your pocket. I've got one in here. Hold on. It's all fucked up because it's all beat to shit. My goal card, it's all beat to shit, but I got one. Okay. Like, I practice what I preach. I sit down every morning and I get up and I journal. I journal every morning. Sometimes I'll change it up. Sometimes I'll just be journaling out affirmations. What I love doing is just writing out a story of my future self and like how awesome everything is and stuff like that. I do that kind of shit every morning because it's the work never stops. I'm always programming what's up here. Okay. When you develop this stuff enough, you really do start having an outcome independence. Okay. You let go to attachment to all outcome. Buddha, I'm not a Buddhist, but Buddha said that all human suffering comes from attachment. Okay. Now I'm not talking about the like bullshit attachment styles and stuff like that, but attachment to things, attachment to people, having people in your life, right? If this person leaves you right now, a lot of people are crushed when this person leaves their life, right? Thor left my life earlier this year, right? My dog left my life earlier this year. And it hurt. Like, those things hurt, but I'm also able to let it go much easier because of what I do, what I work on, but the same thing happens in relationships. This is a lot of people, and I was like this too. A lot of people hate the term, she's not yours, it's just your turn, right? She's not yours, it's just your turn. Everyone's like, oh, that's such a terrible thing to say. And I used to believe it was a terrible thing to say too. And I would say, man, what a self-sabotaging way to enter a relationship, right? Having that mentality when you go into a relationship that she's not yours, it's just your turn. Like, oh, you're just setting yourself up for failure, right? And I was like, it's an excellent cope when you go through a breakup, but going into a relationship with that. But then I realized that going into a relationship with she's not yours, she's just your turn. I mean, your turn could last the rest of your life. It could, right? It's not a bad thing. It's about letting go of that attachment to outcome so that you don't get zeroed out when her hypergamous nature kicks in and she realizes that she has a better option and she fucking leaves, right? Like, that's just women's nature. You can't control other people. You can only control yourself and how you show up and how you react to it, right? So if you have that mentality of, well, she wasn't mine, she's just, it's just my turn anyway. Like, then you're not so hurt when they leave. You know what I mean? But all of that comes from believing that you're the prize. And the funny thing, the paradox of it is when you let go of that attachment to outcome, you're not so fucking needy and clingy trying to hold on to something, right? And then she feels more safe and secure in the relationship, and she doesn't feel like running away, because women are like cats. Women are like cats. When you go chasing after them, they run away. And so it's funny how this stuff works. It sounds terrible, but it really goes towards building this mental frame that becomes unshakable, right? When you let go of attachments to outcome, you're not bothered by things coming and going. You let them come and go, right? And they're more likely to stay, By the way, if you guys need help working on any of this stuff one-on-one, book a call with me. Go to call.fixeddeadbedrooms.com. All right. The last thing here is, so how are we going to transform these paradigms? We talked about this a little bit, but one of my favorite tools are affirmations. My favorite tool, absolutely affirmations. If you guys ever read Think and Grow Rich, he calls it auto suggestion, but it's the same thing. It's affirmations, just saying it over and over again. Right now, I'm listening to a book called, the Success Principles Through Positive Mental Attitude by Norman Vincent Peale and Napoleon Hill. A lot of, like, he talks about this. He talks about using auto-suggestion to reprogram your mindset for having a can-do attitude, having a positive mental attitude. I'm a big proponent of it. But in order for it to be effective, if you match it with visualization and emotion, it's really going to stick. Also, you got to watch your self-talk. Guys are really bad about negative self-talk, and they don't realize how detrimental it is, right? They're like, I'm just being self-deprecating, right? But that self-talk is an affirmation. Self-talk is an affirmation. And so if you're talking negatively to yourself, your mind picks that up and you're programming it. You're programming that negativity into your own mind. Okay. So you got to watch that negative self-talk. And if you catch yourself doing it, flip into a positive. Flip it into a positive as soon as you can. Okay. Get into the habit of flipping negative self-talk into a positive self-talk. Okay. Also, it's important to really have an abundance mentality and having the paradigm of a leadership mentality, right? You want to be the guy that takes ownership, right? One of the things I talk about in psychology paradigm is extreme ownership. And it's something I learned from Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. If you ever, it's a life-changing book. I highly recommend you read it. Read Extreme Ownership. Okay. But I have a whole chapter dedicated to the concept of extreme ownership. It's basically, you need to own everything in your world. You need to be responsible for everything in your world, because you can't change other people. You can only change yourself. Right. But also everything within your world, if you own that and you take responsibility for it, you have no one else to blame. You have no one else to blame. And you let go of that victim mentality. And you realize I could have done better in this area. You don't always win, right? But when you fail, you're like, what do I learn from this? That's ownership. It's really important. Another good way is journal your wins. One of the things I never did this, but I think I think it's a great idea. But when I started working with my business coaches, Nikki and Mark, they wanted us to have a brag book. Right. And it's important to like sit down and like celebrate your wins. Right. If you journal your wins, man, like that'll put you on top of the world. It reinforces that you're a winner. It's a great way of doing that. Okay. We talked about visualization and affirmations and all that kind of stuff. But the final takeaway I really we'll wrap this up, guys, is confidence. True confidence isn't pretending. Okay. It's the quiet certainty that comes from repetition, discipline, and self-trust. Okay. When your actions and beliefs finally align, everyone else will believe it. You'll be congruent. Okay. What's congruent mean? It means that your words match your actions. And that's really what shit tests are all about. It's women want to test to see if you're congruent, if your words match your actions. Okay. So the only way to do that is working on what's up here until you truly believe it. Okay. And you might not be there yet, and that's okay. Just keep at it. The work never stops. Like I said, the work never stops. All right, guys. That's all I got for this episode. Hey, Offie Kingdom's in the house. What's up, brother? What's going on, man? Hey, did you get your KDP stuff straightened out? Like, are your books available on KDP? I remember that was an issue like a month or a couple months ago. If you guys don't know who Offie is, Offie's got like 1 million great books out there. He also has a really awesome YouTube channel. All right, guys, that's all I got. Tune into the podcast on Monday. We're going to talk about what women secretly want but never say. And these are some of the safest sexual fantasy archetypes self-reported by women from Nancy Friday's book, My Secret Garden. Okay, and I say safest because some of the things in that book would seriously violate community guidelines. Like, women are dirty as fuck. Women are dirty as hell, and you would never know it because they always like to maintain this facade that they're pure innocent angels out there, and it's men that are deflowering them. Women are dirty as fuck, dude. This book really shows like what's going on in a woman's mind, and I thought it would be fun to talk about some of that stuff in the cleanest way possible for YouTube. So we're gonna talk about that on Monday. Hopefully see you guys in the chat there. But that's all I got, guys. Do like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Have a safe and happy Halloween, guys.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.